Welcome to another edition of Web Chat with the Warden. I'm Chris McMillan, joined by Oxford County Warden Larry Martin. Larry, how are you doing on this fine January day?
Oh, slipping and sliding around and playing in the slot. But other than that, not too bad.
Absolutely. It'd be nice if Mother Nature made up her mind, but hey.
Yeah, it would be very good.
We'll have to deal with it. We have an Oxford County Council meeting tonight. Not a huge agenda compared to some others. The library board governance was kind of the big item on the agenda tonight. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, in the last two terms, I guess they were having a hard time trying to get quorums out for meetings, and I guess the last little bit in the last term, they just had meeting notes because of lack of quorum. So we're going to try and with a smaller board, and that way your quorum would be fewer numbers. So other than, and it'll bring it down. And we are also looking at other forms of governance as far as the board goes and what's allowed and what's permitted, because there's apparently there's a provincial library act that we have to follow, and we have to go through the process in order to do what's right.
And we'll follow up on that. We'll have a story on that on Thursday morning. The big news of the past couple of weeks locally here is the regional review. So the province announced that they're going to be taking a look at a number of municipalities. Oxford County is one of them. What was your thoughts when you saw Oxford on that list?
Well, I saw Oxford on the list, and that it wasn't a real big surprise after what happened in Toronto. And I believe it was last July, Premier Ford said that he was going to be looking at all governments and all forms of government. So we got kind of bypassed in, I believe it was 97 when there was some done. So it's not a big surprise. And I just hope the two gentlemen going in have their eyes open and their mind open as well. And it's just gathering facts at this point in time. So there's not a whole lot that we can talk about for sure. It's just more like speculation what it would be.
One of the things people are mentioning is amalgamation, things like that. What are your thoughts on that potential coming out of this review?
I'm personally, my gut feeling is that down the road, if we're lucky, we could end up with single tier if we're lucky, and otherwise there could be something else. But like I said, nobody knows for sure where we're headed at this point in time. We just know there's going to be change.
Can you explain to our viewers, so what do you mean by single-tier government?
Well, right now, Oxford County is a two-tier government. We have the 8 lower tiers, 8 lower forms of government, and the 8 smaller municipalities, and the mayors from those municipalities serve on the upper tier, which is the Oxford County or the county government, and then they each have their own functions that they do within the community.
And if you look at, to our neighbors, Norfolk County, for example, would be an example of a single-tier government. That's all the questions I had for you today. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Just coming out, there'll be an ad coming out in the paper looking for volunteers for an accessibility committee, advisory committee, and contact the county if you're interested. And we need a few more members yet. And if you're interested in accessibility and have accessible issues, by all means, feel free to fill in.
Yeah, watch out for that, and watch out for a story on that on Heart FM News. I am Chris McMillan, joined as always by Warden Larry Martin, and make sure to join us again next time for another edition of Web Chat with the Warden.